Oh. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second here. It's weird. It's not okay. All right, welcome in. Musso at the box. LSU shuts out Nicholls 9-0 here in the midweek. 3-hit shutout to be exact. Some really dominant pitching. You hit 5 home runs. You had 1 injured fan in left field. You didn't commit any errors. All in all, a really good night for LSU. You're 26-16 now, and you'll turn your attention back to conference play. Welcome in Auburn in a very, very winnable series for LSU. We can get into that a little bit tonight, but we really have the rest of the week to preview that game versus the Auburn Tigers. So y'all smash the like button, get subscribed up to the podcast if you have not already on your favorite app. Get subscribed up to the YouTube channel if you have not already as well. So, I'll be honest, it was a pretty sleepy game if we're just being quite, frank about it. There's certain things that were pretty good, that we can go through, but, you hit 5 homers. 4 of them were solo. The fireworks really didn't start there until Tommy White hit the 3-run homer off the gentleman's head out in left field. But, it was a light show. It was, tape measure shots all night long. Bear Jones going over the batter's eye was friggin' just sheesh, young man. But ultimately, it's hard to look at a night where you scored 9 runs and be like, ho hum, especially with the luck that this team has had offensively. But it kind of was. Just about half those runs scored off solo homers. You didn't have you had a lot of opportunity early in the game with runners in scoring position. You just didn't totally through. One of the runs you scored was on a bases loaded walk. The catcher. So it wasn't a night offensively, but it was effective. Just because you had the 5 home runs, you hit mistakes well, which is something that Jay wants to see. It's something that they want to execute, and that they did. So look, from in that regard, good. 9 runs, 12 hits, 5 homers. That's good. A massive night for Tommy White that we'll get into, and then you had 5 pitchers combined for the 3-hit shutout. So all in all, really, really solid for the Tigers. Let's get into it a little bit if we could. As I said, teams trade could not get a run in, unfortunately. But in the 4th, Josh Pearson, that's when he would lead it off with a solo home run, just a blast to right center field, and about 416 feet worth, I believe. And then Braswell doubles with 1 out. Did the stream crash or y'all got it still? Let's see. I still have it. Yeah, all right, we're still good. Braswell would double with 1 out. Stephen Milam draws a walk after Milazzo strikes out. Kling draws a 2-out walk to load the bases, and that's when Ashton Larson came up. And, he works just a really, really nice at-bat. Took some great pitches right off the plate. It also, the inning was kept alive. Kling got a break because he struck out on a pitch, and then they appealed down to the first base umpire who missed the call, and Kling got the walk, and then that's when Larson came up, and just a great at bat. A great at bat. Took some really tough pitches and earned that one, and that made it 2-0, and then, like we said, Tommy White swung and missed at a ball, and they got to the backstop, and you scored another run off of that. So, not the not the dominant offensive performance there at LSU, and ultimately that's what you want. All the meanwhile, you're still rolling along on the mound in the bottom half of the 6th inning. That's when Stephen Milam hit his 2nd home run of the season, an absolute blast to right center field as well. No doubter, really, from Milam. Good to see the power kind of starting to come through there a little bit for Steven. And then in the seventh inning, you had the 2-spot back-to-back homers from White and Jones. That's the one from Bear that went over the batter's eye, which was just incredible. And then you had the 3-spot in the eighth. It was the 3-run homer from Tommy White. So, look, when you look at it offensively, you scored in the last 3 innings that you got to hit. That's a major positive for this team. Pressure, you hit the bullpen again very well. That's something they struggled with, but you had that going tonight if you're LSU. So that's a big positive. The other thing I want to point out before we get into a few individual pitching performances, then we can take some comments. The defense tonight was incredible. That was the best shortstop I've seen Michael Braswell play probably since the preseason scrimmages. I'll be honest. Like, that's what it looked like from him all preseason. You saw great range. You saw him play each hop precisely, and then you saw him throw absolute seeds from that position. And that was just incredibly encouraging. Like, in the scrimmages, he made every play possible for him to make. And it was great. That's what it looked like. So hopefully he goes forward with that a little bit more. Obviously, I mean, the diving catch by Larson was great. You had really nice defense behind the plate from Milam and from Milazzo, and then Milam made a couple nice plays over at second base as well. So, just a real positive for LSU defensively tonight. Man, this stream is struggle busting tonight, and it did so well over the weekend for a couple games, and now it is just really, really struggling. That makes me very angry. All right, well, we'll keep rolling along. If you're having problems with the stream, might I recommend the audio version of the podcast that you can find on any podcast version of your app. There are no skips or problems with that. That's recording A-OK right now. So if you are missing things, go back and listen to it tomorrow. That's greatly appreciated as well. Let's look at some individual pitching performances here from LSU, because there were plenty of things to like there. I mean, Cade Anderson went out there, had his longest outing in eight outings now, and pitched really well. I mean, he had to pitch around a little bit of trouble early in the ballgame. I think in the first 3 innings, Nicholls had 6 runners, but you credit Cade Anderson. He never allowed any runs off of that. So, I mean, that's huge. He got himself into trouble, pitched himself out of trouble. That's impressive. The free passes, maybe a little bit more than you would have liked to have seen from him tonight. He had the 2 walks and hit 2 batters. So 4 free passes in 4 innings. That is a little excessive. But everybody who came in out of the bullpen was awesome for LSU. I mean, Christian Little, that was as encouraging of an outing from Christian Little as you could have. He pounded the strike zone, and he didn't give up hits. Like, Little came into that outing against Nicholls on Tuesday night with more hits than innings pitched, which is never what you want. And the walk total was high too. He didn't walk anybody, and he only gave up 1 hit in 2 innings. That's awesome. And you want more of that from him going forward if you can get it. The problem is the consistency just hasn't been there. Maybe he can build off of that. Sam Dutton was Sam Dutton. I mean, it's just what you come to expect. And I'm still waiting for more opportunity for him. Like, I'm still waiting for more opportunity for Sam Dutton, because he just continues to pound the zone. He continues to get outs. The stuff looks like it's actually taken a bit of a jump this year. Inning and 2/3, shutout, didn't walk anybody, didn't give up a hit, threw 20 pitches, 14 of them were strikes. I'm still waiting just for more from Sam Dutton. He was awesome. Justin Laura got the 1 batter out that he faced, and then Thatcher Hurd. I thought Thatcher Hurd bounced back very, very well after walking the leadoff hitter. He walked the leadoff hitter and then came back to strike out the side. The fastball command was great, and that's when you get the victory there for LSU. So, well, Devin Kelly, we can answer that question right now. Why does Sam Dutton not start in SEC play? On Sundays, he's asking. Well, a couple reasons. Number one, you're not going to get the length out of him that you want. He's better served for you out of the bullpen on a weekend, and you've seen him once in conference play out of the bullpen, and he did really well against Tennessee. His defense bit him, a little bit when he first came in, but he settled in quite nicely after that and pitched a whole nother inning where he was very good. But I mean, if you'll remember his freshman year, it'd be the same thing where Dutton, they used him on Sunday as a freshman, but it was as an opener. I mean, he'd give you 2-3 innings, normally maybe that's it. And then they'd go to the pen. You don't quite have the pitching depth on this team to do that. And Nate Ackenhausen's been really good. Getting you 4 innings through the lineup twice, and you can turn it over. So I mean, that's why. But I would like to see Dutton more on the weekends. And again, with him just throwing 20 pitches tonight, you have an opportunity to do that. Everybody wants to talk about, or everybody wanted to talk about Saturday against Missouri when, after you went to Aiden Moffitt first, after that, you didn't go to, quote unquote top arms. Now, again, you're down 7-1, whatever at that point, and you're not going to do that. That could be a great spot for Sam Dutton, where you're looking at a guy who's going to go in there, throw strikes, and potentially hold the line for you there. And if you throw him maybe in that spot and you stage that comeback, maybe you do. So I mean that's where I'd really like to see him more. If you're not going to use him in leverage spots on the weekend, fine. Use him more in that spot where you threw a Micah Bucknam, or I don't even remember who pitched after Aiden Moffitt at this point, and I don't have it in front of me. But like that's an area I think you could really see him, and it would be great. Devin, no, I don't. I don't think he could extend to 4 to 5 because he's been his best in short spurts. That's why I go to say that. Like, I mean, notice I don't think there is I don't think there's one time this year he's gone more than 2 innings. Like that's his max. As a freshman, he went 4 once, I think. Again, I have it written down because I did this whole thing in one episode about Dutton. But I mean, even then, mainly it was, 2, 3, maybe 3 1/3. So, no, he's not a guy who's going to get you through the lineup multiple times. But you could definitely use him out of the bullpen a little bit more than they do on the weekend, and I would like to see that. Alex G., what did you think of Kling's at bats? Tonight, they weren't great. I liked that he got the hit in the last one, and he extended his hitting streak to 9 games. And that's actually the answer to the question. So, what did I think of Kling's at bats tonight? Not great. What do I think of his at bats the last month? He's on a 9-game hitting streak. And his average is up now to 223, which, doesn't sound great, but the guy was hitting sub-minimum, was driving me nuts. He only had 1 hit tonight, but he also drew a walk. So, I mean, that's production at the top of your lineup. So, his at-bats tonight, so-so. His at-bats overall in the last 9 games, the last month, much improved. Much improved, much more similar to what you saw from him in the preseason scrimmages as well, which is a major positive there for him. Let's see. Y'all keep some questions coming here. We got a few more minutes that I'd love to go ahead and do this. Devin Kelly, another one about Dutton. Do you think he can make it an MLB roster as a short reliever? I think you'd have to get a little bit more consistent with the fastball velocity. I mean, you've seen it reach 95 a little bit this year. I think you have to have that a little bit more consistently. But, I mean, he throws strikes. He'll get a chance. Like, he's absolutely going to get a chance to play professional baseball because he throws strikes. And, I mean, that's ultimately what you're looking for. So, no, I don't think he'll just be a college pitcher and hang up the cleats. Like, I think he's going to get a shot to play professional baseball. How much further can he go in that? Well, that's going to be up to him. But he's a bulldog on the mound and he throws strikes. Big Mill, why not pitch Cade on the weekends? Are you talking Cade Anderson? I assume you're talking Cade Anderson. I don't think it's a question that you don't. But if you want an answer as to why you haven't seen him, it's as simple as the it just hasn't been good enough. Cade Anderson has pitched in 3 SEC games. He has an ERA of 16.8. That's the third lowest ERA in conference play on the team. So, I mean, that's why. It's just, when he's taken that step up in competition, it just hadn't been great. He's given up 8 hits in 2 2/3 innings in conference play. He's just not fooling anybody. So, I mean, I think that's why you haven't seen it. It's not to say that won't get better one day. I'm sure it will. The kid's got great stuff, and you've seen that early in the season in the pre-conference, and you definitely saw it in the midweek here again tonight. So, he just needs to keep going. Like, that's a guy that can bring along slowly, and you expect a much bigger role for him next year, But you can't really justify throwing a guy out there in a tight spot in an SEC game when conference teams are hitting 571 off of him. That's just, I know that's blunt, but that's that's kind of what it is. With Cade Anderson there. Dominic, why don't they pitch Jaden Newton some of the midweek games? Yeah, interesting. Jay had brought him up in his media availability on Monday as somebody they would like to have gotten on the mound Tuesday night, but then Jay also on his radio show Monday night mentioned when talking about the pitching plan for Tuesday night, said there's more guys I want to get on the mound and not enough innings in that one game. So, I mean, that's why. They want to. He's still throwing. He's throwing bullpens. By all accounts, the performance at his last bullpen was very encouraging, and they're encouraged with him. Fred wants to know, how long do you keep one before you get Braswell in the leadoff? Braz and Larson get on base and set the table for Tanks and Jones. Yeah, I mean, look, man, I wouldn't mind Michael Braswell in the leadoff spot. This is what I'll tell you about Kling up there. Again, I mean, the walks have been more. Paxton Kling, let's see, on the year, sorry, those are the conference stats, not the season stats. Season stats, here we go. Paxton Kling, while he's hitting 223, he still has an on-base percentage of 412. So he's getting on base. And it has a lot to do with the 23 walks that he's drawn. So, I mean, like, he's still there. And when you listen to Jay Johnson talk about what he wants out of a leadoff hitter, it's not only someone who can get on base, but somebody who can get into scoring position. And this is where I'll come back to Braswell. Kling and Braswell are the two guys you're really going to look at for that. And here's what I mean by that. Michael Braswell leads this team in doubles with 11. Paxton Kling is second with 9. How many of y'all would believe me if I told you that? Well, it's true. Paxton Kling is second on this team in doubles. That's why you can leave him in there. He's got an on-base of 412. Braswell's is 415. They're actually very comparable. They each have 1 home run. Kling has a little bit more pop in the bat than Braswell. Like, Kling actually having the 1 home run right now is surprising to me. I would not have seen that. So they're both comparable guys there, if you're being honest. So the question is, how long do you leave him there? Until you really have a reason not to take him out. I mean, not to move him from there is the answer. But they're quite comparable. So, Jay wants a guy, again, like I said, who can not only get on base, but can get into scoring position. Doubles will do that. And can also jump the yard. Kling has more pop than Braswell. Braswell's not a power hitter. He's a contact guy, and you've seen that great. You've seen that very well, so far this season. So, Michael Braswell was your opening day leadoff hitter. So, I mean, like, it's not that they don't like him in that spot. It's just you don't actually have that much of a reason there. And then I just saw another comment from Fred. With no win, Kling would have about 4 more home runs on the season. Correct. Paxton Kling would have hit home runs. He would have had 2 home runs at Missouri. He hit the ball into the teeth of the wind to left field, which was just the wrong place to hit it. And it looked like a friggin' it just dropped out of the sky. If he'd have got it up to the right center field jet stream that was at Taylor Field in Como, he definitely would. But he had that sack fly was against Florida. That would have been a grand slam without the win. Like, so it's definitely interesting. Douglas, Cade Woods, question mark. Yeah, I don't know, man. Look, I mean, kid's healthy. He pitched a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I don't know. All right, that'll. Anytime Jay's asked about him, it's we'd love to get him into the game more. It's so I don't know. It's not an injury thing. I know he was dealing with something in the fall, but I mean, he pitched every single week in the preseason, and you've seen him twice this year. I don't know. We'll just we'll have to wait and see how that goes the rest of the way. But good win for the Tigers tonight. 9-0 over Nicholls. It's the win you needed to have. 5 homers, absolute light show, and a 3-hit shutout and great defense. I mean, that's what you're after right now. You'll turn your attention to Auburn. Auburn's the worst team in the league, and they come to your house. And you should have an advantage in all 3 games. It's a really good lineup. We'll talk plenty about that as we go forward through the rest of this week. Auburn's a really good lineup. But again, it's a team that you should at least take 2 out of 3. You take it 1 game at a time, and you get through it. This is a chance to gain a little bit of ground, but LSU just has to show way more consistency before I believe they can sweep anybody. So this is your chance to prove that you have some consistency. They'll be able to do that when Auburn comes in this weekend. We'll have you covered here, ball to wall, on Moose at the Box. You know that, so smash the like button if you have not already. Get subscribed up on your favorite podcast app. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app, and get subscribed to the YouTube channel as well. Okay, last one on the way out. Fred, does Jones have first-round potential if he comes back for 1 more year? Sure, but he's not coming back. I mean, Jared Jones is probably a second-round pick this year. So it's kind of negligible. He could get something maybe over slot. If a team signs a high schooler, who's not a draft risk, they can save money there, and he can get something over slot. Or it's just not it's not conceivable for him to want to come back another year after the year he's had him. He's hitting 300 with 18 bombs, and he's played a really, really good first base. Like he's hitting 300. He's shown the power, and he's now shown that he can play a defensive position. He's coming off the board real early. So enjoy the last little bit that you're going to see of Jared Jones in a Tiger uniform this year, because I do believe this is his final season. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all smash the like button. Be here next time. More Moose at the Box.